Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Starcraft 2 World Championship Series Challenger European Edition. It's still bright and early, not even 7 a.m. here in sunny Los Angeles, California. Well, almost sunny. I'm Nathanius, joined by In Control, as we get into the only matchup today that won't feature a Protoss or a Zerg.
It would be a TvT then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or TV random.
Yeah, that's excellent number crunching there, In Control.
I did that right on the fly.
Yeah, it's very good start to the day. Game's going quick. Don't you
Well,
think?
yeah, for us, I suppose. Hoping for a more competitive series. And of course, it's a playoff, so you're going to have some lopsided stuff. And then as the day goes on, hopefully it gets a little bit more competitive. But that's also the part of...
That's the expectation.
Cyril's a bit of a monster, so you can expect that. Lambo played a great series.
Cyril's been taking, even though he plays in the European region, he's taken after the American. He's monopolizing the WCS Challenger bracket.
They had some Europeans try to monopolize.
Yeah, maybe.
At some points in history.
They have like regulations over there, man. It makes it tough. Here's our bracket so far. Cyril will be going up in another ZVZ against Lambo in our first semi-final, while we get to HeroMarine and uThermal. The winner of that will play against a Laser and Nerchio, which both should be good matches. I mean, that sets us up for a great TVZ, I think. Both uThermal and HeroMarine players, I'd say that were pretty strong.
Oh, yeah.
Good TVZ players. And I think either of those guys would be a great matchup for them. So that's good. And then starting with TvT, always an interesting matchup. It's kind of all over the place.
Oh, yeah. It's all over the place. But it's interesting, too, for the players, because I think uThermal's favored against just about everyone, I would say, except for Cyril, of course. And even that, if you go far back enough, uThermal will tell you he's favored there. But HeroMarine stands a unique chance, in my opinion, of being the cooler. I think he's a fantastic player, and we were all about him for a while there. But I think he could beat a uThermal. I think it's like 60-40 for uThermal, or maybe even a little bit more. But HeroMarine could pull the upset. It's not that out of possibilities.
Just let them know that we're ready.
Did you actually type something?
Yeah.
That was you typing?
Yeah.
Did we get that on camera? I didn't even see.
I can type fast, Jeffrey.
Well, you can type fast, but you also like...
Yeah, you know, home row.
You like pulled in.
You know that they mark 2 keys on the keys. They
I
have
guess that's
little
what it looks like, isn't it?
indentations.
Yeah.
Your index fingers.
I don't. Yeah.
You don't
I look
need to
like that
at
too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's because you were looking at me and typing that it was like very... It's like, oh, man.
I'm just that good.
Don't make eye contact.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Type at someone.
I can't be stopped. My ability to type while I commentate StarCraft is unparalleled. In the bottom right, funny as the Red Terran player. Oh God, I'm observing, aren't I? We have the Red Terran player. He's uThermal.
One of the only ways I get to sleep at night is I tell myself that every year, or every 4 years, as it were, or whatever, when Bob Costas does the Olympics, there's some producer in his ear that says, "Tell him it's NBC. Tell him.
Don't forget to mention we're the host of the big tournament.
This is curling. Tell him it's curling."
In the top left, who is this, Jeff?
Well, that is our good friend, Big Gabe.
We're working on getting that.
Sagat.
We're working on getting that nameplate changed. Just changes.
Big Gabe.
You know, who wants to pronounce that this early in the morning? Let's just put Big Gabe over there.
It's a cool name.
I don't think he'd mind. That's a good nickname to have. By the way, we got, in case you guys haven't had enough dairy lately, we're bringing the cheddar here too. These guys were like, you thought the other series were fast? You were wrong.
It's normal TvT stuff, though.
Yeah, well,
It's like not even it's not a finisher necessarily.
I will counter that a little bit In Control on this map. This is an awful Reaper map, which does leave me a little bit curious. Like the natural is a bit open because you've got a couple different areas to jump in, but like as far as getting into the main, you know, this isn't lost and found where there's like 3 different spots you can get in. HeroMarine is gonna, he's feeling the pressure though. Wow, okay, 2 bunkers. You know what? Never mind. I take it all back. I'd actually say this ends up being great for him, just because he's putting so much into this early on. HeroMarine showing a lot of respect to this this Reaper rush that uThermal's bringing out.
Well, I'm sure it's a similar like thought process that you just had, where it's like, this is bad Reaper map, and he's got double gas, so it must be something crazy.
Yeah. It is a factory, and the SCV sees that, but because he's not building a ton of Reapers, that's why the bunkers actually are maybe even more peculiar to me, is that what you would want to do is get like a bunker here if you could really fast, And then it's super hard to get around that.
Yeah.
You just have that high ground, you can take your natural. But because he's opened up with this, actually, you know what? The single gas, yeah, he really limits his options because he can't go with Reapers. He has to just build Marines if he wants to get the factory. Wow. And the starport's being proxied too.
Wow.
So.
Wow. He was like walling in at first, and he's like, no, fly away.
Yeah. I'm glad he salvages one bunker though. It's just like, well, yeah, I want to hold the ramp, but if this was Mass Reaper,
that's just good bunkonomics, though, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's sometimes you get a really good return on those bunkers, you know, and then sometimes you're like, well, value didn't really go up, but you can at least get, you know, drops a little bit.
Oh, we don't have game sounds, right? That's a silent death.
Was it though?
We'll play it back for you guys. Ready?
Good. Set? Who turned off? Did Fear Dragon turn off the sound?
Fur Dragon might have done it.
Fear Dragon. And you know what? You know why? Because he's like everyone in chat's like, Nathanius is such a bad observer. The units don't even want to make noise.
Yep.
And he just set me up.
You know what happens if you're afraid and not lifting your feet?
What does that even mean?
You're Fear Dragon.
Oh.
You get it?
Okay.
See what I did there? You saw it. It took a while.
200 IQ.
It's kind of like there's some mist or something, but it is going to be this cyclone drop. There they go.
This has become such a thing in like every matchup for the proxying of the Terran players. TvT opened up with that tank's really nice. At 7 range on the tank with the Marines to soak up a little bit. Does a great job. The Viking being out will help too. And Big Gabe is just like, yeah, I'm going to go for a normal setup. Of course, the Proxy Cloak Banshee will be annoying, but at this point, you start your eBay, save your scans, and the Cyclones, if they don't kill your Engineering Bay.
Wouldn't hate a Raven. He's not going to, I mean, maybe make the second.
He can't afford one if he wants to keep building tanks. I mean, he's not.
But can he afford to not have one? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if he kills it with a scan, then sure. Two Vikings is enough.
Well, guess what?
Now he's probably
Nathanius.
Yeah, well, he can't build tanks.
Welcome to the Jeff Dome.
Well, he's not going to build tanks, so that's how he can afford.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. You can't afford to not have the Raven.
Jeff, I'm
when
sorry,
it hits you with that anti-armor missile, I look at every Terran player and go, "Do you play a game without a Raven?" And they're like, "Yeah, all the time." Like you're
There's
stupid.
no reason not to. Anti-armor missile is.
I mean, it's so good.
Ain't no cannon like a Dorito cannon. We have the Vikings pushing out towards the natural. Scans. By the way, there's another factory being made back home for uThermal.
Yeah. Next time.
So it's he starts with the proxy, goes into the factories, call a little macaroni and cheese in control.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. I like that.
You know, just trying to step up to Nick Plot's legacy a little bit.
That's a tough plot to step up to.
That's you know, I'm used to standing on boxes, but that plot is just a little bit higher up.
Those shoulders are way up there.
Yeah.
You know what his weak spot is, though? If you can get him?
Where?
His wrist.
Oh, yeah.
Wrist
Tasteless wrists exploded. He had so much passion. He played so much Starcraft. His wrist.
Let that know to our Twitch chat. If you ever find yourself in a battle of wits and strength.
Find yourself in a battle royale and you land next to Tasteless. Go for the wrist.
You have to go for the wrist.
Gotta go.
It's a weak spot, quite frankly. It actually makes it anticlimactic. You're like, oh, you're a worthy foe, and then you hit his wrist and he just melts.
Yep.
Oh, no, I guess you weren't at all.
You just do one of those like ninja moves.
The Marine counterattack!
He smacks him. Wow. Cyclone drops one. Wow. So the TvT move here is that sometimes these contains are really hard to like deal with when you get the couple of Vikings and you bring the Raven, but because this drop is still running around.
I can't stand watching it. Okay. He keeps moving out.
Killed the Vikings, so this medevac's just trolling around. He doesn't care.
But it's this like really soft move out. Like he moves out and he's just sitting there, and then this keeps happening.
The ideal move here is that he drops the Cyclones and you get the Disabler missile, you get the Interference Matrix onto the medevac so it can't pick him up, and then you try to kill them with like the Banshee. But because he lost the Vikings this early in the game, not only are they really expensive, but like uThermal didn't have anything back home. If he was able to find an opportunity to try and push back or do something, which it seemed like he wanted to do, that's where things get really complicated because you just keep rallying Vikings across the map, you establish air superiority, you build 2 Liberators, easy peasy cleanup after the cheese, but he doesn't care. You know what else though? You know what makes me always feel good in control when someone does this? Just float.
Landing something there?
Just float one of your buildings out there, just take it. You know?
Fun feeling.
Don't blow it up. Just let them know that you can take it and you just take it. And then they kill it later on.
I think it appeals to the Terran frugality, like there's the desire to spend every last drop.
Yeah, I cut
Anytime
my
you
hair
hear
as
Terrans
well.
talk about cut my hair. Every time I see Terrans like painfully talk about dropping depots, another part of me just dies. We're like, ugh, it could have been a mule. It's like, yeah, a meal is pretty fantastic, right? They're like, it is. And here I am just making resources in the game, which is the only way to do that in this entire game, this ability.
I do like that he keeps repairing the cyclones, by the way. He's done a pretty good job of coming in and out with this. And weirdly enough, no, okay. For some reason my
Not
brain,
that weird then, as it turns out.
for some weird reason my brain's just like, why isn't there stim? Why isn't he starting anything else in his base? And then I realized that Big Gabe just feels like he's got to do a huge attack or he's
Big
gonna
Gabe
lose this
going
game.
big here, man.
Big Gabe going big. You know what they say, go big or go home, right? Go Gabe or go NA, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Cyclones kind of poke the Vikings. The air control always becomes the big factor here, though, because
Oh
you try to follow it up with Liberators. Weirdly enough, it's uThermal who's actually added a few Liberators into here. So if he gets those Vikings, then Stimless Marines are going to have a hard time pushing that. You know, someone crunched the numbers in control.
Yeah.
The splash area of the Liberator is roughly equivalent to that of Psionic Storm.
Oh,
Very sick. Yeah. Well, if you've ever seen one shoot spread out Mutalisks or Overlords, you're not surprised.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That AoE. I thought you meant it's big Liberator Circle, and I was like, no, I
No.
don't think that's the case.
No.
It feels really big. Big Gabe gonna push the spot. The unfortunate thing here is I feel like uThermal can just be like, okay, sure, and pick up the orbital, move it somewhere else. And it's still a infinitely faster third because HeroMarine, like for most of our chat, no, gosh,
Is he gonna get it?
is he gonna get it? Those are space construction vehicles beneath it. And yes,
Are they though?
all right, these are top of the line space engineers.
Vikings gonna land. These bad boys, by the way, this is always one of my favorite things. Good, well, interference matrix there to shut down those Vikings, and he's gonna lift up and be like, ha! I got you. But now all the Cyclones will actually kill everything. Does he still have the Liberator? No. Okay. uThermal lost his Liberator, so he can't do that.
Two of those Vikings are, their engines are rumbling.
Rapid fire launches will be nice for helping to push this back, but I mean, at this situation, if you are Big Gabe, what you 100% are just trying to do is get that air control. That is your saving grace here. The Cyclone count, you don't really see them usually made past the opening phase of the game, but in this situation, without stim, they're amazing. They're amazing against these tanks. It's like, oh, I'm gonna try to siege up my tanks. The Cyclones will kill everything. They still have their own tanks in the back to help them out. And there's no more Liberators here for HeroMarine. So uThermal will knock you out. GG.
There's a part of me that
What's up?
I like it when a commentator's like, there's no air conditioning. No. Because I do that all the time. So I'm like, when I see that we've never been closer in a relationship, I'm like, Nate, I do that too.
Yeah.
But when Nick does, that's my favorite.
It's not super common to see the Cyclones build after that phase because they cut out all the gas that you need to get your 4th and 5th factory and your armories. But he's like, well, I'm not going to catch up to 6 Vikings, so just get rapid fire launchers. And Vikings have low enough health that the Cyclones are able to deal with them anyway. So
Pretty cool, though, if you think about it, too. Like, all the stuff that HeroMarine would want to do to try and, like, return counter-harass gets shut down by Cyclones. Banshee
those
can't
first,
do it.
the Banshee, the first 2 Vikings, just having those out to deal, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to deal with the proxy. But then it's like the Vikings die to the Cyclone, and you're like, I actually can't leave my base because now these Cyclone medevac. And uThermal, to his credit, I think what I really enjoyed was that he did not at any point do like the Terran thing where you're like, all right, drop the Cyclones again with 10 health each, let them die. Pff, all right, move on, you know?
He repaired them.
It's like every time that you see in a pro match, like a Terran repairs their Hellions after they do harass, everyone's like,
People do that.
is it worth it? Is it worth it to repair battlecruisers? Is it worth it to repair those units? I'm like, did you know that from 1 hit point to full, it costs 25% of the total cost of a unit? It is always worth it to repair and control.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, $25 to get a Hellion back up to top shape. Not bad. That's assuming it's at 1 hit point. So good job with uThermal not throwing his units away, bringing the harass back.
The numbers you just crunched.
There wasn't enough analysis in that game. I just had to bring a little bit more.
Well, that's a lot of it.
I'm just
a lot. But it's good.
You know, I've been inspired by your number crunching in control. So, yeah.
Started somewhere. Before I crunched the numbers, who was doing it?
Who was crunching the numbers?
Nobody.
My Fear Dragon had his, like,
Fear Dragon wasn't even born when I first was crunching numbers.
Okay, that's fair, that's fair. I mean, I guess, well, you learned to crunch the numbers from those, what was it, from the Rosetta Stone or something that they had.
Well, I crunched it for the Rosetta Stone. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I was just kind of like looking
Really-
at these numbers, and I was like, they are going to need this.
Before you, there was nothing other than the person who made the tutorial that you used to
Yeah.
learn yourself, millennials.
You know what the Rosetta Stone is, by the way?
Yeah, that was the device that they used to.
Well, yeah, but I mean what it was
translating.
originally.
Well, like
was
it
a-
literally was like
Yeah.
like a block of cement or something. I don't know
It
what
was a
made
rock,
out of.
but it was actually a menu that they used for a really old restaurant, like back then.
That sounds like a good reason to learn how to translate.
Yeah.
To be honest. You want to introduce this player?
I
Jeff?
do, I do. Okay, so in the top left-hand side, he might not have a whole lot of hair on his head, but what he's got is a huge heart and a big win in the first game. It's the Dutchman, uThermal.
Wow.
Wow. Mark Schlappy. I want to see Mark one day like remove his ball cap, have that big grin on his face, and those piercing little black eyes through the glasses. And he
It
looks
turns out he's actually had Maynard dreads the whole
at,
time.
no. He looks at his like the significant other and he says, "I want you to be Mr. or Mrs. Schlappy." And for them to be go, "I want to be Mr. or Mrs. Schlappy.
Will you be sloppy with me?
Can we be Schlappy together?" And they'll be like,
Greatest proposal of all time.
"Yes."
His opponent in the Southeast, hailing from Germany. It's Big Gabe.
Their family song can be the Happy Gilmore Sloppy Joe song because it's like close to Sloppy. Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Joe.
I don't.
You never heard that?
I've seen that movie so many times. I actually don't remember that.
You don't remember that? The lunch
No.
lady.
It's the lunch. All I can think about is that. My brain always goes back to the crocodile.
Of course.
Yeah. I got that alligator. That alligator.
Got his eye. And then he falls out of the.
Top tier comedy.
Jeez.
Guys, well.
And then later, it would be Adam Sandler that would fall out of the window of his own career.
Yeah, there you go.
Rest in peace.
Fly too close to the sun. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So no proxy in this game. Thank God for that. These games have
Something
been
different.
getting a little weird. Yeah.
But there will be cyclones.
This has. Oh, okay. It's a Reaper, right? It's not that early in the morning anymore.
Yeah, we're
And,
hitting a normal work day usually.
this opening from Terrans, by the way, has become like such a staple because everybody hates this like Reaper and proxy cyclone stuff so much that you just have so many people. You like start your barracks, you get your factory, and then you pull SCVs off gas so that you can literally just build a cyclone and your 2 Reapers so that you don't die to like proxy Reaper.
Literally build your cyclone.
That's the entire point of the strategy that you see a lot of the days because it's not as bad on this map, just because you don't have the cliff that goes into the main. So like, if you can just cut this off with a bunker, as we see uThermal has done, you don't usually see someone be daring enough to try to run their Reaper past a bunker with 2 other Reapers in it.
Yeah.
So sometimes people will do that with Hellions, and they're like, well, now you have to fight me, but usually that's why you get the Cyclone.
And so he shall. And both players kind of have that cyclone either out or going to be out. And now we get back to the Banshee.
Yep. And it looks like uThermal, he could go for multiple Cyclones over here. Whereas HeroMarine is going to get that cheeky. Well, third command center.
Raven.
TvT is also seen. It's also known as the matchup, which is also a race to get 3 bases. You get 3 command centers, and then you get everything if you're not getting cheesed. So I imagine he'll get the tech lab here. He needs to get a tank out pretty soon. If uThermal goes up to like 6 Cyclones, and then he pushes him when he's got like 1 tank or maybe 2, he's gonna just kill him.
Can you do that though? Go for a 3rd CC like that and make 6 cyclones?
Yes,
Dang.
that's what everybody does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this what TvT is. As soon as you know you're not being cheesed, it's literally just like boom, 3 command centers and then that. Or if you think the other guy's gonna go Cyclones, the one other variation is that some people will just try to go for like a 2-1-1-esque build where they just rush Stim Marines at you to kill your Cyclones. But that also, it's a dangerous play. You don't see it as much, but occasionally there's like big like 5 rags type attacks on 2 bases. Not as popular though.
What? Really?
Well, it's something that you'll see on ladder, but it doesn't pop up in pro matches because you can almost always get away with the 3rd CC. That another factory.
Missed on the starboard there. There you go.
Okay, Vikings. No Ravens.
Swapperooski.
No Raven for uThermal. He wants to get the Medivacs. Ooh, doubles. Oh,
Double
I love
drop.
that. Cyclone drops in TvT are gnarly. But the Vikings are here, so I mean you're turning the whole game into like a gamble of if you drop the Cyclones and get the Vikings with the Cyclone drop, then your cyclone drop never dies, and you become. It basically kind of turns into the last game, where uThermal is just constantly pressuring him, and you don't expect this. This is not like a popular thing. This is not a thing that a lot of people are doing. The single cyclone drop out of a proxy, I'd say, is actually more popular at the moment versus Protoss. But there we go.
What if they could transform into Hellbat cyclones too, and they shoot fire missiles?
That'd be great. I'd also can they like roll out into rectangular cyclones? That
Yeah,
really fast?
get a weird shape in there.
The cyclones become contortionists.
Yeah,
Guys, my body
just
doesn't
something
move
that looks
this way
improbable. Like they just come out rectangles and they don't even move or anything. They just like flop over on the floor.
Also be top 10 enemy betrayals here if he just snipes that tech lab researching stim. Oh no, he's not going to go in. He's decided he doesn't want to gamble that. He's like, I will lose one medevac, so everything does become killing that Viking. And HeroMarine's like, yep, all right, now I'm going to take my third base. I pushed the drop back. That was all you were really going to do to me. The Cyclones can still put on a little bit of pressure since stim isn't done, but I don't know. He has to like do that if he wants to do that. So third command center is going to be moved out.
Fair point.
Thermal. Yeah.
Can't do something he's not doing.
That's, you know, man. I'm trying to bring out that really high level. You know, like in Challenger, all the TvTs we've had in Challenger this year, somehow I've miraculously cast like one, maybe none of them.
Is it this one?
This might be one of the only TvTs I've actually done in Challenger. Somehow, it just the rotation just never worked out.
You know, you never give the Cookie Monster name?
Cookies.
That's right. So maybe that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just trying to stop me, but they can only hope to contain me and control.
Right. Did you have any TvTs in your show match thing yesterday?
No.
Did you pick those matches?
Yeah. Tried to avoid mirrors.
Jeez Louise.
Tried to avoid mirrors. Hey
This
man, Mick Monroe
Liberator,
versus
by the way.
future top tier series. Double armory. Look at that Liberator in the natural,
Both of them.
Liberator in the main.
Vikings aren't even moving. Now they are.
Now the Vikings reposition. These Cyclones poked. I grabbed something there, but I'm too bad of an observer to let you know what that was.
You're exciting. I wouldn't say bad.
Yeah, creates a lot of tension.
Yeah.
People say that the game needs tension, all right? In a world where Cyril makes these most predictable tournaments you'll ever watch,
Yep.
I am here to confuse you. We got a siege up on the third,
Okay.
and he's like, "Ha! You moved your Vikings away from my liberators. Now you have nothing to stop me from camping outside your base, except me leaving."
Yeah, but that's not the game voice.
Oh yeah.
I moved the tanks there in position to siege the third, but
He had no anti-air, but I decided to let him take the third anyway.
but I'm worried about the cyclones behind it, so I pull back and I go back to my base. And as long as I can get out enough bio, I can win.
I'm not worried. uThermal doesn't have a Meisterschaft.
Oh, he's got a Meisterschaft.
I don't think that's what
Not a
all
German
in the
one.
Netherlands.
Yeah, they call it like a Schlappy Shaft.
Thank you.
That's what they should call it, at least. Can we agree on that?
Thank you for crunching those numbers.
The second I say it, they're like, oh my god!
All right, one.
Called it the Huda Shaft.
Gouda.
Is it Howda?
Gouda, yeah.
I feel like such an idiot every
I
time I
was
say it. Because, you
I
know,
was
everyone
exposed to
has
that.
that, like, that uncle or cousin that's like, did you know it's pronounced lay occupé la fromage?
Are you
like,
one of those people that calls it Lancaster, really? You've never heard of, you don't call it Lancaster? What's wrong with you?
Yep.
Are you not,
exactly
you're
it.
not even Amish, are you? Hellions
Place
gonna
in
get
Oregon
this.
called Tigard or something, and I couldn't for the life of me get it correct because you would get equal parts Oregonians are like, it's Tigard, or you'd get them and they'd be like, it's Tigard, and I was
Yeah.
like, look.
We get that a lot in Wilkes-Barre as well.
Yeah.
People are like,
Wilkes-Barre?
Is it Wilkes-Barre? I'm like, goodness gracious.
How about on the East Coast where they got Washington to Washington?
Oh, well, we don't do that. That's,
Straight up added an R.
We're not that bad. We're not that bad.
Okay, this is a big attack.
Yeah, he's got a huge mech army. uThermal's like just been chilling this whole game since his Cyclone attack failed. He's like, yep.
It's time to end this. Gabe, you've been here too long. Prepare to die.
Actually,
like-
Games Armor's not bad too.
He's got games like I've got.
Never
Vikings.
mind, your army's pretty okay.
I was gonna say the Viking advantage is actually in favor of uThermal, but you are scared if you lose the anti-air
Oh, the Liberators,
and
man.
you do die to the libs.
This
But he
is
can
a
deny this fourth if he realizes what's going on.
lot of Marauders here.
Yeah. As long as the tank siege, I think you bring
What a
the
weird fight, by
bring
the
the
way.
Vikings to the south. Just deny this command center is really all you need to do.
Thermal like sees the army. He's like, no, I can't fight. Gets halfway home, and then one of the tank drivers is like, what, are we just gonna go home? And uThermal's like, you know what?
You're right.
Let's do it. He turns around and just attacks.
It's the halftime locker scene in the sports movie. That's what it is right there.
Oh my God. Why was the bio
way here to go home? He's going to focus down the Liberators because he doesn't care about the Vikings just yet, but the Liberators are shooting. Focus those bad boys down. Your siege tanks are dying. Okay, the libs are dead, but now the medevac drop is going to come back over to this army, and uThermal's attack is going to be routed. He's still ahead in supply after the end of the day.
Yeah.
2 of the tanks are still alive in the back. The Hellbats
Is it
tanking
routed?
phenomenally. No, it's not. I thought it
Is it though? Well,
was. That's why you're here in control, to keep cocky, overconfident casters like me from.
I do the incredibly, like it's so shameless. I'm just sitting here waiting.
This
for you to
could
call
be
it.
the beginning of the end.
Yeah, and then I get to be like, you thought it was over. But otherwise, like, and there's 100 hours of footage of this of me being like, the battle is decided, it's gonna be, and then it just clearly isn't. I'm like, wow, what an amazing defense.
This is what I live for, right?
The individual flames.
That's what it's all about.
Reposition that. Get him over there.
He's scanning. It's like, all right, can I kill him yet? It's like, I don't know. Liberators are showing up. At this point, really, the only thing that's keeping the game ending, potentially ending there is
Heart of Big Gabe.
Yep.
The enlarged heart.
What, he has an oversized heart? What does that have?
Maybe.
What?
We don't know, you know, one way or another.
What are
I
you
suppose.
talking about? So, well, we discovered that
enlarged is always taken as a negative thing.
his ancestor was a farmer, and he worked so much cardiovascular exercise. That Big Gabe he's called Big Gabe because he's got a big heart.
Yeah, well, my heart's totally normal sized.
I did a lot of commentary with him at home right now. It's a lot of lip circles, by the way.
Yep.
He's fighting underneath it.
He's got the Thors though.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Thors were gonna rip it to pieces.
My
GG.
Protoss heart was looking at it, I was like, no, you can't. The circles mean no. And he's like, I don't care.
TvT is funny like that. There's a tipping point when it comes to the Thors because it's like, I think the Thor by default does like 60 damage. So if you have upgrades, you're doing like 3 shots, 3-ish to kill the Liberators generally. And then they get Liberator range and you're like, okay, well, just kind of like fight in the open.
Yeah.
And then you get the weird game where the guy's like, they stack like 10 Liberators on top of like, no, we're actually one-shotting Thors now.
Everything.
And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to apologize, or not even apologize, just make note. That was my 1 toot sound per broadcast. So
Okay.
Marco Blitz has allotted me at the beginning of the year. We talked out a contract. He inked out.
You're
I think it was like
allowed
14 fart sounds I can make in the year. So if you're looking forward to more of them, can't do it, and I apologize. And you know, honestly, if that upsets you, I recommend buying several voice packs and the new war chest, and adding a little note to it and saying, hey, more fart sounds from Jeff.
There you go. Put that as a note, you know. When you can send gifts over Battle.net to your friends, gift them some war chests and put the note in there, you know.
Thank you to everyone, by the way. It was a good war chest. Saw
Yeah.
your little video talking about the skins too.
Yeah.
Nice, you did
I
that.
think they actually announced they hit one of the
Oh, yeah.
for the
$700,000.
$700,000 for the prize pool team of the year.
Not bad.
And those
Wow.
skins are awesome. The only thing that pains me about it is I want the next wave of them already, Jeff. All right.
So this is my first war chest I bought. That was an interesting experience. I was like, because I maxed out and I'm like, wait a second. The others are just they're time locked.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait before you can unlock them.
I'm not used to that. Like 14-year-old Jeff would be like, oh, I know what this feels like. But
They're
32-year-old
scared.
Jeff's like, no, I'll do next day
They're
shipping.
scared of the StarCraft players like us that play like 1,000. We get like 10 billion EXP in a week, and they're like, well, we don't want people to have it before some people have like 2 of them. I guess.
That would be the logic.
Because you and I would unlock everything in like
skin
the
jealousies,
first.
what they'd have.
Yeah, someone would be like,
I can't
how
play
does
that
this
many
guy?
games.
How does this guy have it unlocked? Did he pay to win? It's like, no, you actually can't. You can't buy the individual
Yeah.
tiers. It's like, you mean he just plays the game a lot? So
I'm looking forward to StarCraft 2 2020 or so when they're like, you know what? Custom sprays. I trust you guys. You guys do sprays.
I'll
For
never
anyone that
forget.
played CS
Do you
1.6
remember
20 years ago.
Do you remember before the spinning decal in front of the base, what they had? Where you could set that, it was a spray in front of your base, whatever your decal was? That right there was perhaps one of the greatest things Blizzard ever tried, when you could literally have your clan image upload whatever you want, and it was next to your base on the ground. and every single Terran player immediately was in a clan, which logo was a Burrowed Widow mine.
Oh my God.
you go in, you'd be like, oh my God.
Oh, I can't go there.
Okay, he's got a fake mine here. Oh, okay, and then the mutas fly in, but you burrow 3 mines under the fake mine.
Oh, that's fun.
And then,
Please, Nate.
there's nothing better.
The people need to know who's playing right
The only thing more important than that is letting you know that in the bottom left right now is our red Terran player. He's leading 2-0. He is uThermal! Go uThermal!
Mark Schlappy.
He's the lone wolf.
I don't like the way you pronounce Schlappy. That's what he would say.
How would you pronounce this man's name then?
His name is HeroMarine. Gabriel is such a sick name, by the way. Like, oh, did your parents name you ever something? Yeah. The general of the archangels in heaven. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's
No, that's Jesus. I'm actually Gabriel. I want to be named like Sun Tzu or something like that. Like, it's kind of an interesting name. Where'd you get that? It's like the guy that wrote the Book of War, man. Boom.
There you go. Well, one day, Jeff, perhaps one day when you warp in a zealot, you can name it. You can name it Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu Robinson. There you go.
I tried to get Anna to let me name my dog Patrick Bateman. That was actually the first name I was going to go with.
What?
And she had this really funny moment where she looks at me, and she, you know, a lot of my jokes fly super under the radar for a lot of people, I suppose. And this one wasn't a joke. I was like, I really wanted that name. And she's like, where have I heard that before? And I was like, are you asking? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well,
you should.
The American Psycho character from
that's
Psycho. And she's like, no, we're not naming our dog after a fictitious serial killer. I'm like, okay.
It's like, can we do Freddy or Jason then?
Guess what I'm gonna try with my next dog? Patrick Bateman. I also think it's funny to yell Patrick at a dog. Patrick, did you just eat your poop?
It's the real joys of pet ownership.
Yeah.
That's
Barrison doesn't do that, but I do have to put that out there. He's got a streaming personality going on, so I don't want to spread misinformation.
Yeah. We don't want Barrison to lose subscribers over this. So.
Terrible. Cut into his bone budget. Now we do have a couple of actually there are 2 Reapers chasing each other, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're observing. Oh no, they're the same. Okay, I thought it was like one chasing the other. You're observing.
Well, technically, one is chasing the other if you really think about it.
There's like a beautiful cinematography moment though, because it looked like your mind was like, this is stupid. You just like looked away immediately. Like
I'm like 99% of my brain is trying to analyze the words coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
And then 2% of my brain is like, why is the Fear Dragon or zombie group here to observe this? But there you go. See, this is TvT, by the way.
Yeah.
It's literally, you get Cyclones, you get a third base.
This map you can't even blame though. I feel like you don't even have to go Cyclones. Can't you just do like a tank or 2 and lock down the 3 bases?
Yeah. For the same reason, I mean, the drops are still good, right? It's still a good map for that sort of stuff.
Okay, so Libera's just better because they can kind of move between 3 bases, I suppose.
Yeah. What really interests me here is HeroMarine's build.
That's a lot of bio. So it's like Cyclone bio?
Yeah.
And he tries to catch him doing 3 bases, maybe.
Maybe. It's only weird to me because it doesn't really time out. Like, he needs to start the starport into reactor right when the Cyclone finishes. And even then, like, I feel like he could have been a little greedier with this and tried to just go for like an actual normal 2-1-1, but he didn't want to do that at the risk of
Reapers are ridiculous.
But this is a great scout for uThermal, because what this tells you is like, okay, I kind of just need to be worried about being caught by a bunch of Stim Marines early on, which can be a pretty good counter to Cyclones if you're out on the map, or if you're, you know, there's a few things worse. And it's like, oh yeah, let me just run my 6 Cyclones up, and then like 16 Stim Marines combine. You're like, well, Cyclones do damage, but Marines do damage.
All right, that was the full scout, and I think the 2 barracks this time really make it weird. Like I feel like HeroMarine can't do it, by the way, so he doesn't get scouted like that and then goes, well, I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like he has to default back and just expand.
Yeah, like going for the medevacs, like you try to do the drop play, but on this map when you're trying to take the initiative against Cyclones, it's almost better to try and get like he did on Dreamcatcher, where you go for the Vikings with the Raven and you try to do some sort of Viking tank contain. Of course, you don't want all your Vikings to die to Cyclones before you get a chance to cross the map, but something of that sort. Anyway, uThermal's just kind of dominating this series, and
he is.
I'm not really sure where the openings are for HeroMarine. trying to do a different build here is good, but I don't really know.
Makes me feel a little bit silly about earlier. I was like, here, pull the upset.
So here it is that fast 16 Marine.
Is that fast? 530?
Pretty fast for TvT.
For TvT, I guess.
Considering
How
you went
safe
up
you have to
to
open it,
three racks before third command center is not quite the standard.
Yeah.
It is so hard to punish somebody for going 3cc in TvT that is one of the reasons why you will see it damn near every single game unless someone's cheesing. But because see, he's gonna go into Vikings. He got tank siege in the main. Cyclones are in the natural. So you're like, okay, 16 stim Marines can do a lot, but like you need to like kind of dance around this. You need to like somehow drop here, kill the Vikings, and just like kill the depot and run away, and then be like, don't even think about getting to third base until you've got enough tanks to inch your way out. He's gonna leave that Marine there, and it's like, well, you're not dropping against this. Like, nope, that's not gonna happen. And if you do drop here, there's another tank staggered even further back.
Yeah. Which he doesn't know about, to be fair, but I just, you know, like you said, the objective was to make sure that his third goes down at a similar time. He gets a lot of bio up. You know what, too, by the way? Is bio kind of a weird choice in this map? Isn't it kind of hard to make stuff work with bio here? You can't get into the 3 bases. You can only drop it. By
That's
that
a hard
stage,
question for me to answer. I'm super biased. I think ever since they buffed the siege tank, it's just, and the Viking buff was huge as well. The 10 hit points in TvT had significant.
You're not super biased, Nate.
No, for TvT, I think mech's a lot better than bio personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Mech player needs to make like some really, really crazy mistakes to lose versus bio. Just because like utility of units is so much better. We haven't even gotten to a long enough game where we could see like landed Viking harass and stuff like that, which is also
Tank stuck.
disgusting. Yeah. That's the worst part about the tanks, man.
Pretty thick.
Can't siege him onto ramp. So there are a couple spots here you can abuse, by the way. You can siege tanks here.
Yeah.
You see that from time to time. You could also try to siege by the production. I think your goal, if you're HeroMarine, is to try and get a siege up in range of just killing the sensor tower, maybe. But then you have to get vision of it, and that means you got to deal with his Vikings, which are definitely not yours, because you don't have any over here.
What a weird spot for them, too. Where are those Vikings?
Yeah, they're just chilling over here.
Oh.
Normally you like float like your barracks over here to watch
the
this.
red.
Yeah.
They show up as blue to me.
Are you colorblind in Control?
No, I'm not. But look at like the blue cubes behind them and stuff. It kind of makes it bluish. A little bit.
Maybe it's the lighting, I guess.
Somebody in the chat. God! So clearly red!
This is why we need to let the players play as like pink.
Yes. Oh no. They'll get weird.
Get the petition. Let's go.
They'll get weird.
I'm too liberal in my Starcraft ways. If it were up to me, we'd have all sorts of different colors.
You'd celebrate all of them?
It'd turn into Fruit Loop craft over here. Everyone would have different skins. Everyone would be complaining. They'd be like, that siege tank isn't... I can't fight it. It's a mercenary tank. It does 100 damage. What is this game?
I would pick a color that was like so violently neon that it's really hard to look at. And then I would, as a personal, like on my screen, default it to the green-red thing.
Well, what you do is you just teach someone that they are colorblind by picking a color that would be hard to discern from theirs. That's the next level. Hellions are out of the map, by the way. And HeroMarine, to what we were talking about earlier, it's like, what are you going to do? He's got so many tanks here. He still has tanks here. He's got the sensor tower. He's got more than enough Vikings. And if you did drop past this, the Liberators are going to siege onto whatever you drop. Yeah. So at this point, HeroMarine's best option is what he's doing right now. He's starting to bank Vikings. He's going for +1 ship weapons very early. And this is actually one of those weird spots where you can catch the mech player off guard because the Viking scales better with attack upgrades. And the mech player will generally want to get the vehicle weapons because that's what's going to, that provides more value over the long run by having your tanks and Hellions able to like 2-shot SCVs. Eventually you want to be able to, those +3 tanks will 1-shot Marines when they stim.
Are you explaining upgrades right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So getting those upgrades, like just as an example, once the siege tank gets up to that +3, like if Marines stim and run into you, in the moment before they get healed, like here, we have a lot of them in yellow, your siege tanks are 1-shotting these. So like that's one of the reasons why you want to get those upgrades up. At least for the long run. Helps with the Thors too. That was actually another thing that made Vikings better in TvT was Thors in their single target mode used to 2-shot Vikings but, with the full upgrades, but it's always 3 now.
StarCraft 2 2019, Chris Hemsworth makes a guest appearance and does the voice for the Thor.
The voice and the portrait of the Thor. I will buy that.
Everyone.
Can we get the Thor?
Everyone would.
Where's the Thor skin? That's what I'm talking about. 'Cause, like, I don't know. 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 Like, I don't know That's
You want me to crush that?
I don't know. Just his picture alone would be enough to get me pretty
just
excited.
have him sail the normal lines. That's all he needs.
I require more. Mineral.
Gets this command center. That's a good grab because he's moving out.
Came in orbital.
If you're a mech player in this situation, you rally everything to the top of your main ramp, and you do the base trade.
Oh!
This is where those liberators might
Call
come in
it,
handy.
Nate.
This is where they might come in handy. He's banked a lot of Vikings for this moment. The libs get focused down, which is great. And these Thors in their single target mode are going to bully back those Vikings. But this isn't your grandfather's mech. This isn't 2012 where you don't have a whole lot of anti-air solutions. You've got some very powerful ways to deal with those libs. And now you got a whole bunch of Vikings that are like, yeah, they do bonus damage versus mech. But are you going to land all of these Vikings and just try to fight, you know, mano-y-mano against a dozen siege tanks? No, you're not. It's not going to.
Ana's been eliminated from WCS. Nice try, Nate. Don't worry, Twitch chat, I got your back. Dirty commentator trying to slide that resurrection in there. Not gonna let it happen. This is so bad for HeroMarine. He's not even that far behind in supply, but it's just like you're down a base. And here's the thing about bio that I have a tough time with, Nate. Like, to clean up that army, you basically have to trade out almost 2 for 1.
Yep.
You're gonna lose more. There's no question about it. And if you're behind, losing more seems like a pretty bad idea.
And uThermal is just mining more as well. So he's just at the point where he's like, he doesn't actually have to do anything other than just chill here. You focus on the Liberators, keep the Vikings alive.
Oh
the Thor is going to do the job too. He's going to drop on top of these tanks. Everything dies. And
There's those tanks. It is a Thor.
Thor's going to keep shooting that Liberator.
The Thor is such a cooler, by the way, too, because that Thor's not there. He can actually just win the air battle.
He's going to land the Vikings. The Vikings will destroy these siege tanks. But it's really going to be about the follow-up. Thermal just doesn't have anything else behind this.
Well, I mean, HeroMarine.
Actually, yeah, HeroMarine doesn't have anything else. There you go,
GG.
Thermal wins, 3-0.
Big Gabe knows a lot.